Welcome to the channel, everyone. As we are really doing this again. And what is that? Well, since we haven't been on a racetrack since about 2003, so we decided it's time to start this up again. And you can see as our weapon of choice here is a 2016 Nissan 370Z Nismo. It's a really cool platform. It's been around for a while, and a lot of people are saying that it's showing its age. But in 2015, they did a pretty major facelift and some upgrades to the 370Z Nismo. The really nice aero package on the exterior. They also upgraded quite a bit in the interior as well, adding the Recaro seats. And then the other thing that they did was they actually added in automatic now for the Nismo version. So as you see as it rolls through here, that is actually what we're running. And don't beat me up in the comments. I know that it's an automatic, and everybody swears you got to have a stick shift to be on a track. Well, I disagree. And as I get older, the more and more I disagree because I'm sick of shifting. So our choice was to either go with the automatic or to do a full-blown sequential type transmission in this, and we just didn't want to do that at this point. That's a little bit more than we want to do on the first car back out. So this wasn't always our vehicle of choice. What we were planning on doing first was a Porsche Cayman S. We had one at our local dealership that we were getting ready to go buy. Gave him a call on a Saturday morning after seeing the email on a Friday night that it was there, and lo and behold, they sold it that Friday night. So we didn't wind up with that one. So I was a little disappointed. I was already in the mode to go get a new car for the track. So I had a friend of mine say, "Hey, why don't you go take a look at the Nismo?" At the time, I was actually driving. I had a toy 350 Roadster that was just something that was there for me to play around in, and I really like the 350 platform. Have always been a muscle car guy, and you'll see some of those cars cycle through here in just a minute. We've had a lot of them, and never really had any of the Japanese style sports cars. So we added this 350. A friend of mine had never seen rain, very low mileage, and it turned out to be just a blast to drive. It was a go-kart. So I went ahead and took the chance, and we went to our local dealership that had a leftover 2016 brand spanking new, and bought it in April of 2017. It was exactly what we were looking for. We were looking for the A7 transmission with no tech. I did not want this to be a tech vehicle. I wanted it to be stripped down because we're gonna wind up taking a lot of the stuff out of it anyway. So it didn't make sense to pay for something that we weren't going to keep. So as we were saying just a second ago, we've got a few muscle cars that we've had in the past, and I want to just cycle through these pretty quick to get on to the business of what we're here for. So my dad lost his mind when I was 17 years old and bought me this 72 Firebird. It had a 455 HO in it. It's one of those cars that you just never forget owning. And then it was a few years before I had another one, and I had an 82 Z28, which was more of a straight line car. It was a built 400 small block. Then we moved on to a 98 Z28, was probably the fastest street car I've ever owned. And then 2001 Super Sport, had that car for a lot of years. It was a really nice vehicle. And then finally we had a 1980 Corvette. And that pretty much rounds out what we had in our world of muscle cars. And so now let's move on to the purpose of this old channel here, and let's talk about some track time. So we had some things that we had to do to this vehicle before we attempted to try to put it onto the course. We didn't want to modify anything from a base car perspective. We didn't want to put any tune on the engine. We didn't want to do anything to modify the intake, exhaust, or anything. We wanted to get a good solid baseline on this vehicle before we made any decisions of where we wanted to go with upgrades. So we had a few things that needed to be done from a safety perspective because we needed to be safe when we're out on the track. Safety first it's always your number one priority. There's a lot of people out there. You don't want to hurt others. You don't want to hurt yourself. You got a lot of equipment and money tied up. You don't want to, waste either one of those. So safety first, not a recommendation. It's a priority. So we concentrated mostly on brake systems. So we added in the Z1 Motorsports stainless steel brake lines. And then we've upgraded the brake pads to the Carbotech. We put 20 XP20s on the front and XP12s on the rear. To say it stops well is an understatement. It stops on a dime. We flushed the brake systems, added in the Motul RBF 600 brake fluid, went full synthetic. And then our final upgrade we did to the braking systems were the tires. We upgraded all the tires to Toyo R888R tires, and because we needed something that can handle all that additional braking force and also give us something that we could make sure that we could stick into the corners with. Rounded out the last of our upgrades to with the Z1 Motorsports 34-row oil cooler. The 370Z is notorious for high oil temperatures, and the last thing you want to do when you're pushing it hard on the track is to one, damage your engine by overheating your oil system, and two, you don't want it to go into limp mode when you're slamming into that corner and trying to come out of it hot and heavy. So now all we've got to do is get it out onto the track and see how she does. We had an opportunity to attend Z Nationals back in October, and so we did. We had a great time. We had it up on Road Atlanta and did our thing out there. So sit back, enjoy, and let's see what she did. As we expected, we did find some problems with the car, and we've got to do some upgrades. So here we are coming out of turn 7. Notice the RPM. We're coming up at a third. The shift to fourth is street transmission. It seems okay. Watch the 4 to 5. It's slipping. So the transmission is overheating and it's causing the gears or the clutches to slip. And the other thing you can notice here is we never back off the throttle. It's not picking up speed like it should be because we're going downhill, and the throttle is just never released. So we've got to do something about power. But you know what? We have got a solution. So first thing we're going to do is we are going to pull the transmission and get the valve body sent off to level 10 up in New Jersey. Let them work their magic. The next thing we're going to do is we are adding the Z1 Motorsports cold air intake to get a little bit better airflow into the engine. The other thing we're going to be doing is high flow cats from Z1 Motorsports, and also doing a muffler delete. That's from AAM Competition, so we'll do the muffler delete from them. And then finally, once all that's complete and we're ready to rock and roll, we've already got our appointment set up. Complete dyno tuning is Z1 Motorsports. We'll take you guys along on that so you can take a look and see how it all turns out. So tune in next time and we'll begin all of our work and get everything prepped, get it all up on the trailer and start heading down to the Atlanta area. So if you like what you've seen here today, please hit the like button, and if you want to kind of follow along with us and see where we go from here, hit the subscribe button. We'd love to have you join us and see where this little ride goes. You never know. We'll see you next time.